game show 3 dimensions away from Resident Evil getting a remake. I'm your host 3D Jake, and today we're looking at Resident Evil, released in 1996. Resident Evil is a video game that was released by Capcom, and it's not really the first zombie game, but I would say it's probably the second or third zombie game that came out. Like, this game is a really good game, and I thought since it's Halloween time, we should really look at Resident Evil, the video game. Not the remaster that came out in 2012 or 2013, or it might have been 2003 or so. But I'm going to talk about the 1996 PlayStation 1 Resident Evil game. The one that's called, most likely, Resident Evil Director's Cut. Or also in Japan, it's called also Resident Evil, just called Biohazard. Because, I guess because someone else owned the title Resident Evil in Japan. But, I really like this game. I've always been a fan of Resident Evil. I've just been so freaking enthusiastic by Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil. Played the games when I was a kid. I watched the movies. Some movies I really enjoy, some I really don't. I really just playing this game. I thought I had one of the best storylines ever. The game of which is about a group of Bravo team goes missing, so then it's up to Alpha team to go in a helicopter, and then of course they land, and then of course one of the team members runs off, and then it's up to Jill Valentine or her brother Chris Redfield, depending on which one you choose, to go into Spencer's mansion, and then that's when all the horror starts. And essentially what you do is you go in there, and so when you go in there, you basically you're going into the mansion. When you go into the mansion, you're basically having to deal with it's basically puzzle solving, and you're basically, because it's like you're trying to figure out what the koi is of the game. Like, you're basically your first zombie you see is in the hallway past the table. You have to walk into this table in this next room over here, and then you walk into that table and you see that zombie's eating somebody, and you're just and it turns at you, and you're like, oh, creepy, and then you have to shoot it, and then if it bites you, it scares you in the movie, which really does nothing, when it bites you, and so basically you have to shoot it, and then you shoot it, and then of course it goes down, then it just disappears. And so that happens a couple times. That's really cool. I will say I love this game, but I do feel like it has not aged well as a game, because compared to the other Resident Evil games, which I feel like Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 have aged much better than Resident Evil 1, because I feel like the game mechanics, especially how it looks down, just doesn't. I don't like that. I like over the shoulder camera movement more. I just hate that. I especially don't even like it whenever they have the remastered version. I don't like that either. I kind of wish they want to remake that game, like they do with 2 and 3, because I really like 2 and 3. I love the idea, though, of this mansion being explored, and you get to just walk around solving puzzles about the Spencer's mansion and everything. And you also have to fight a freaking giant cobra, and it just has all these monsters you have to deal with and everything. And then also you have Cerberus that you have to deal with, and of course you have this giant monster. I forget. It's not Nemesis, but it's it is Cerberus, right? It is Cerberus. I know this is monster that of course. No, it's not Cerberus. It's been. All right, the big giant monster. Basically, once you get to the labs, because there's levels, because the mansion is basically a leveled area. You gotta basically do this, and you get these keys and things, and you unlock it. And you have to go down and explore it and find puzzles to solve it about the Spencer's mansion. Then there's an underground secret lab. So then once you go to the underground secret lab, you find out, spoilers, Albert Wesker, who is one of your team, was basically team leader, is a traitor, and he's basically been working for Umbrella the whole time, and he's basically going to get the T-virus and the other virus, so that way he can basically sell it to the company and make a lot of money. And then of course the virus, of course, is basically, and then of course the monster gets released, and then he ends up killing Wesker, which, spoilers if you never played the game, doesn't really die. And then of course you have to deal with the monster. Then you have to go upstairs and blow it away with a big freaking bazooka, and have to kill it with a helicopter. And there are multiple endings, so friends, if you go and you save a player's life, then you won't have to worry about killing Wesker, or you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about you'll get basically the ending you want, where the mansion blows up, the monster's destroyed and everything. But if you don't save certain people, then of course the mansion will just blow up, and then of course the mansion will stay intact, and then the monster will be set free in the woods. Which to me it's like redundant because the mansion basically, because there was a second Resident Evil game, so basically even whether you blow the mansion up or not, the virus still gets out. And I think that's always convoluted. I really do like this game, and it's so great because I like watching sometimes the cut scenes on YouTube because they didn't really do animated sequences because it was PlayStation 1. They just did they used actors, they just got actors and did film. They just got a director out there and shot these scenes. And so basically, as a cut scene, you get basically cinematic movie moments, and it's crazy. I think PlayStation used to have a couple of things. So basically, it's not too shocking, you know what I mean? But nowadays, they just do like a CGI animated, cutscene. So I mean, I like this idea though. The idea that this video game, it's been so much relevancy to this game. I mean, so much so to where the Resident Evil, the movie Welcome to Raccoon City, actually reference the game in their show. Actually reference the game in their movie. Sorry. And so this game is just so unique. It has so many twists and turns. And it has so many secrets to where, I will say, is about the remastered version. They added a lot more stuff like Lisa Trevor and stuff like that. They added, which I thought was great. And I do think that this game does not hold up well compared to the freaking remaster, but it does have a lot of unique things about it. It basically launched kind of the zombie genre sub games, which I would appreciate and grateful for that most. But I do feel like it does not hold up well compared to other zombie games like Dead Rising and Resident Evil 2, 3, and all that. I will say, but I do appreciate this game for existing. And I do like that the game does have a cool game. The director's cut is such a great. It's on PlayStation Plus. I believe it's on the PlayStation Plus premium package where you can play that from the PS1. Portable, whatever it's called, PlayStation. It's like the emulator basically. And so basically you can play it off your PS5 if you have the premium PlayStation plan. That's what I did. I played it off of PlayStation Plus, and I will admit it does not hold up well. The graphics look great on PlayStation 5. They don't look great, but they look, they don't look pixelated. It just looks like, HD. But I really enjoyed playing it. I had a fun time. I will say, I do hate that the idea. I think if they do it now, they would add more of a zombie because the zombies don't really show up later. Once you kill a zombie, it's more of his puzzle solving, and then you have to fight a creature and stuff. I could see this not working in a movie because there's more things besides the movie. You have to just fight around and stuff. So I think that would not work well. But as for this, because you basically especially when Paul W. Anderson did the movies, I could see him well, we're not gonna enter a freaking giant snake in the movie. Instead, you had Cerberus, and you had of course other things in the you couldn't add that and this or that, and so they put the liquor in the movie and stuff like that. I will say I thought that worked better, but that's just my opinion. And I also think that this game does, this game does work on its own as its own thing. And I one day hope that someone makes this game into a perfectly installed movie that doesn't try to rush the 1 and 2 together, or doesn't try just make one separate perfect movie. I think it can be done. Preferably, I hope James Wan makes it because I think he's a fantastic director. If I had to give this game a score, I would give it a 8.7 out of 10. Thank you so much.
Years of work. On March 1996, Biohazard was released for the PlayStation in Japan and the rest of the world by August as